Hello critics, this is RatedT.S.M. And before I go on, if you can see the decorations in the background, stop paying attention to that. If you notice the fan going, stop paying attention to that. You notice I'm in my room, stop paying attention to that. Because what you really need to be focused on is that quiz or exam you got coming up, that homework you need to be doing, or that sleep you should be getting, or those notes you should be taking in class. Because today I will be talking about, for episode 4 of Campus Life, I will be discussing classes, sleeping, and studying. So first we're going to go on studying. I'm not giving you any study tips because y'all should all know how to study by now. Listen, if you got to college, you ought to know. Okay? And if you don't study, then you're probably not going to start studying in college. Let's be real about that. So this is what I need you to know about studying. Cramming does not work. All-nighters do not work. Don't even bother. They're with them. And sometimes when you think cramming works, okay, it might work for that one quiz. But think about the long term, which is what many people fail to do. That midterm or that final exam. Some things you can't just sit around and just memorize. Some things just weren't meant to be memorized. They were meant to be committed to memory. And maybe you'll forget it later, but at least remember it for this semester. For instance, my final exam, and I didn't have a midterm in this class either. Some of the classes won't have midterms and may not even really final exams. But my final exam for my Japanese language class was, we got an interview. And that's for all classes. You just get an interview. Which means this. You can't just sit around memorizing or cramming for that. You have to be committing the Japanese that you learn throughout the semester for that exam. Now, when it comes to classes, okay, listen guys, you all need to make sure you go to class. If you're paying for this, please make sure you're going to class because this is your money you're spending. If you're spending someone else's money, please make sure you're going to class because if you flunk out, your parents are probably not going to pay for you to go again. That's at least what my advisor told me about her son who left Cornell in Ivy League and because he needed to find himself or something. And the same with other people that I've known in my life. There are people in their scholarships that I've lost are just not going back, just not getting that stuff paid for again, because that's reasonable, that's fair. You messed up, you need to go pay your own money. And yeah, just make sure you go to classes because sometimes missing one class in high school, okay, it might be whatever, depending on what high school you went to. Missing a class in college, not only are you missing out on all that money you spent, but you're also wasting, you're wasting your value. I mean, honestly, by going to class, you might be missing out on lots of important content, or you might be missing out on something that you really wanted to do. Like, for instance, I wanted to meet the Japanese exchange students from Hosted University in my Japanese class. But the reason as to why I couldn't, and I actually didn't try not to go to class, it was just this. I messed up my thumb in a door. So I had to go to the student health center and they had to drain the blood out of my thumb and it didn't even work. They couldn't drain the blood out because they took too long to get to me. So yes, I missed that. Now I didn't get in trouble. I gave my professor a note explaining as to why I couldn't come to class. So I was fine, but I really didn't want to miss the class because I missed something that could have been great and important. So please go to your classes because money is being spent on it. It is not high school anymore, or you may not care. This is college where, as I will repeat again, money, somebody's money, whether it be scholarship money or something else, is being spent on these classes. Now, here is another thing. So, when it comes to classes and note-taking, you should be writing down all your notes because it's better committed to memory when you write them down. I'm not saying you just have to use paper. I use my iPad and Apple Pencil. That's what I use for my notes because that's the best thing for me. Because rather than having paper around. But by writing it, no matter whether it's on my iPad or paper, it is better committed to memory than when you are typing it up. And also, if you're typing everything, do you really think when you're trying to cram, you're going to be able just to read through all of that? No. You need to make sure it's written down. And not only that, here's another thing when it comes to cramming or all-nighters. Okay, like cramming, all-nighters do not work. Many college students will swear by them, but please don't swear by something that has been proven scientifically not to work. Because here's the thing. When you're doing an all-nighter, you're missing out on the one thing your body needs every day, and that is sleep. Now, you're from the ages of 18 to 64, at least what I've heard from CBS News, or I think it was NBC, but CBS or NBC, they say that you need 8 to 9 hours of sleep, pretty much. And that doesn't really change until afterwards, when you can get 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Okay, now, people will say that they need like maybe 7 to 8. No, really, you don't. You need 8 to 9. And people will tell me when I get 9 hours of sleep, which is what I always try to get, that like, what? That's too much. Now, if you do the math, if I'm spending 9 hours in a 24-hour period sleeping, that means I'm up for 15 hours a day. Now, you may think that like that 9 hours is a lot, but think about that 15 hours. And if you're only sleeping 6 hours a day, you're only up for 3/4 of that time that you spend sleeping in that day. You are up for 18 hours a day then. So, what's the big difference between 3 hours? Are you really going to be that more productive for those extra 3 hours? Not really. Not necessarily. You may be, but not really, I would say, because if you're tired, you're going to be so focused on how tired you are and how much you want to sleep that you're probably going to be less productive because you're going to be slower and you're just going to be so unfocused. Whereas with me, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be raring to go. I'm going to be able to do everything with the fact that, one, I got 3 hours of extra sleep, which means my body gets to rest for 3 more hours than another person. And not only that, I will be focused enough to do things like studying. Like, for instance, like I can live off of 8 hours. For me, my 8 hours is like other people's 6 or 7 hours, basically. But even though I got only about 8 hours of sleep last night, a little more than 8 hours of sleep, I still feel much better than probably somebody who got less than that. And not only that, your sleeping schedule needs to be consistent. Okay, I understand this. Nobody wants to go to bed at 11 on a Saturday night. But if you're not doing anything, you might as well. Let's be honest with ourselves. I mean, for me, it didn't really matter so much because, okay, I would either go to Bedside Baptist Church, which is my church online. I would just watch my church online because I preferred my church online on Sundays. Or I would go to the actual churches in Westchester. And for me, that was fine. At home, I would go to church in the evening, so I didn't have to wake up early. I love you, Jesus, but like, I'm not gonna lie. I prefer to go to church in the evening on a Saturday. But, yeah. So, no matter what, since I would have, at least my second semester, I had 9 a.m.s. If I went to bed at 11, I should always be waking up 8. Consistently, every day. Even on the Tuesday, or no, it was Thursday. On Thursdays when I had no class. And next semester, I will have no class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But even those days, in order to maintain a healthy sleeping schedule, since I'm going to have 9 a.m.s, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, I need to make sure that I am getting enough, I am keeping a consistent sleeping schedule and waking up, going to bed at 11 and waking up at 8. And again, I know that might not sound fun, but it's the best thing that you can do for yourself is, to make sure that you can get enough sleep. That is how you maintain a great sleeping schedule. And that is how you make yourself feel better, is when you're going to bed and waking up at the same time. And that means you can't do all-nighters, which I have never done any because I know that they're a waste of time and I know that they're useless. And besides, things, at least from what I've heard from the news, and I do pretty much trust in this personally, is that, when you don't get enough sleep, it affects things like your heart and other things like that over time. Listen, your body needs to rest, and I know that you have lots of things to do, but you're not going to be as productive if you're not getting enough sleep. You're not going to be able to pass that exam as well as you probably could, and yes, you might get a 100, but probably as well as you could, or you're probably not going to be as focused as you would be if you had gotten at least that 8 hours of sleep. And listen, I know people want to think that, I have all these things to do, that's too much time, but nothing is more important than your health. If you don't feel fine, if you feel tired and you don't feel well rested, why are you not prioritizing that? Listen, you shouldn't have to take naps throughout the day. I know people, they like to say, I like naps, but you shouldn't have to take them. We take them sometimes because we are tired. We don't feel well rested. And the times when I would get too little sleep the first semester, this really didn't happen the second semester because I really prioritized sleep. I made a whole schedule for myself. But the first semester, when I would get maybe 5 hours of sleep, which, like I said, I never did all-nighter, listen, if I had to get 5 hours of sleep, I was getting those 5 hours of sleep and making good use of them. One time it was because I went to the hospital, and I was pumped up with Benadryl. The Benadryl was awful, so I got about 4 hours or 3 hours of sleep, but I still slept. because, yeah. But, yes. Even if it's getting just, it was a little bit of sleep, I still felt fine, but I would have to take those 3 to 4 hour naps because I was tired. Listen, it makes a world of difference if you sleep enough. And when it comes to studying, it is better to do it in the morning because you're not tired and you're more focused. Whereas when it gets to your bedtime, and if you're keeping a consistent schedule, you're going to be more tired. Listen, if you didn't study enough, then you might as well not try to start studying at the last minute because it's just not going to help you. So that is all I have for you today. Now it is Sunday the 5th, so I will be vlogging all day after I, make myself look beautiful because I'm doing my shopping vlog with Mirror TV today. So look out for that. That will post and upload this Thursday, whereas this video will upload this Tuesday. I got 2 days off from work, so I'll be editing videos probably all day tomorrow. See you. Bye, Greta.